Hello, friends. I'm John McLean, coming you through the courtesy of Carter's iPhone, because we have no cell phone service today. I'm sorry, we have no internet today. Because half of the campus, we lost power. And it's not inconvenient, it's a miracle that we can still be together under these circumstances. So we do have to give a shout out to our mighty tech crew, to Garrett and Carter and Reed. We can turn things around in 10 minutes and still be with you. And it's going to be a little different today because of that. I'm not in some other church, you know, I'm just in a different place. So did I say my name's John McLean? Can you see that I'm wearing my pajama pants today, or no? You can't see that? Okay, good. And here we are, on July the 12th. Today is the birthday of Emily Cady, who wrote Lessons in Truth, which was the first book that was published by the Unity Movement. It's the birthday of Henry David Thoreau. It's the birthday of Buckminster Fuller. I don't know what is with the stars on July 12th, but there have not been three more impactful people on this movement and on my life than those three. And also, today is as close as we're going to get to the 182nd anniversary of Ralph Waldo Emerson giving his Divinity School address at Harvard University. It was July 15th, 1838. And for all these years, his teaching, which was primary foundation for New Thought and for unity, is still active and in play, and I want to share one or two ideas from the Divinity School address with you today. If you're with us today, you know that you are a part of a field of grace, because your desire to be with us and with each other has created a web of intentionality that binds us all together. And so whatever benefits one of us benefits all. And before we begin our prayer work, we want to give a special good morning to Debbie Holliday, who had some surgery, and she's home, and she's good, and she needs our prayers. And so we are lifting up her and her daughter Jerry, who's taking good care of her, in prayer today. And this week's prayer that I still say every night around 9 o'clock and upon rising is a reflection always about what I'm going to speak about. And so together, it is on your e-hymnal. This week's prayer: in the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. My attention is on this day and the good I shall create. With trust and thanks, the people said, Amen. And if you would turn to each other and say good morning electronically. We are not meeting face to face. We are meeting heart to heart and mind to mind, and it is real. So say good morning to each other. If you see someone that you know, say hello. And let's take this time to put in our prayer requests also. Would you do that, please? It's such an uplift for me to get all these prayer requests, dozens more than we have had habitually over the life of this ministry. So I love it when you will let us know how we can support you in prayer. Take a moment together now. I don't have any idea what the announcements are because they are in my computer in the house, which cannot be turned on. So this portion of our service is short. So let's go right into our gratitude practice. Shall we do that? Flow. To the God of our understanding and even beyond our understanding, we thank you for all the gifts that are in our life right now, for the health that we experience and the ease, at whatever level that is, but for comfort, for convenience, for the ability to give and receive love, to express creative ideas, to give our energy to something we care about. Oh, these are blessings for which we're grateful. Together, once again, the people said amen. Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I
as your days unfold, challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard. You gotta be tough. You got to be stronger. You gotta be cool. You gotta be calm. You gotta stay together. All I know is love will save the day. Heard what your mother said. Read the books your father read. Try to solve the puzzles in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you. Others take a different view. My, oh my, hey, hey, hey. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you got to be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love will save the day. Time asks no questions, it goes on without you, leaving you behind if you cannot stand the pace. The world keeps on spinning, can't stop it if you try to. This heart is danger, staring you in the face. Listen as your days unfold. Challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ready to cry. You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard. day.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, this is the first time, because I'm on a phone, I can see the comments. Did you give Dawn plenty of love just then? I trust that you did. I trust that you did. So, here's what we're going to do today. Harvard University still celebrates July 15th. Is that Wednesday? Today's the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, Wednesday. In honor of Emerson's delivering the address to the graduating class of the Divinity School in 1838. Harvard in 1838 is not what Harvard is now. It pretty much started as a seminary, but there were 6 graduates in that particular class. Emerson had graduated from Harvard College very young. He taught, he had a church in Boston, not too far from what is now Copley Square. It was a second Unitarian church in Boston, Massachusetts. He retired at that pulpit because he began to have issues with Christianity. His young wife passed away. He went on a trip to Europe, came back, and did what they call supply preaching. But he also devoted himself, and still this is a 35-year-old man at this point in 1838. He was born in 1803. To being leading the life of an intellectual, to be an essayist and a lecturer in the public forum. The speech he gave was controversial, to say the least. He pretty much said to the graduate students, "You're cuckoo if you think you should work in the church, forget it." He was never allowed on the campus again until 50 years later, when they were forced to give him an honorary doctorate. Isn't that like life? Because by 1880, he was one of the most beloved and honored men in America. It was said of him that he was the only iconoclast, and I think this was part of, I don't remember who it was who said this, I'm sorry, because it's in my notes in the computer in the house where there's no electricity, so I couldn't print it. But he was the only iconoclast who was never martyred in his lifetime. That people really respected this guy, even though he took on Christianity and the establishment head on. He was never against anything except slavery. He became quite vociferous about its evils starting around 1850. He was pushed forward and asked to be a spokesperson because he was so respected. And he was for universal suffrage, always. But this is one piece that he said, which is so applicable to where we are now and how it's part of the foundation of unity and Unitarian faith as well. He wrote that Jesus Christ belonged to a true race of prophets. He saw with an open eye the mystery of the soul. Alone in all history, he estimated the greatness of man. One man was true to what is in you and me. He only spoke about the humanity of Jesus. He didn't think, pardon me, while I put this down, he didn't think that Jesus was any more special than you or I. Perfectly reasonable assumption in that Emerson took inspiration for hello, someone's here. Okay, sit there. Sit in the way back. He took inspiration from what it was Jesus himself that said that I am not special, don't call me anything but teacher, and that greater things will be done than I have done. And this is absolutely foundational, if not to all of unity, because it kind of isn't. But it is to me. It is to me that my inspiration comes from the wisdom teachings of Jesus exclusively and not anything else. Not miracles, not commentary, not Old Testament necessarily, and not the epistles, which is what Christianity is based on. It is not based on the wisdom teachings of Jesus. It is based on the epistles. And he said that you are the thing itself. In this divinity school address, he also, in an articulate and lovely way, he took on the institution of Christianity and organized religion, and he urged the graduates to, quote unquote, go it alone. Don't have anything to do with organized religion, but to go it alone as a thinker, as a writer, as a speaker, and as an individual doing the work that one might consider doing in the world. Here we are, more than ever, having to go it alone. Who knows what the future brings for any of us? And by any of us, I mean any of us organized religions or churches. Who knows at this moment? I don't. And I have to admit, I will, this is a personal share. You know, we always say that, one must be in the present moment. That's a spiritual practice. It's exhausting being in the present every time, every moment of the day. It's absolutely exhausting. Because I keep thinking, well, I need to plan for something, and what about this, and what about that, and I've got responsibilities here. Oh no, unplug from all concern, be in the present moment, all powers in the present moment. So I am practicing that hard, and I know that you are too, because that is required of us. Yeah. But as we are in this time and going it alone, each individually, you can still do this. You can do the most important part of your practices without gathering, without a building. And it is not easy, but it takes commitment, it takes intention, and it takes willingness. And this is what I can guarantee you. When we are in our practice, at the end of each day, I have a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment that few other experiences or days give me. I truly, truly feel that I have done what is mine to do. Unity, like Emerson, pretty much has no dogma, does have a worldview, but no dogma. There aren't things to remember. There's nothing to memorize. But we advocate for spiritual practice. A second page of your e-hymnal was sent out to you. And I made a bunch of copies for myself. And you can do this for yourself. There were an additional page on the e-hymnal where it says, today, fill in the blank, did I. You can take an inventory every day. I've been practicing this week because I was thinking about, well, if Emerson says to go it alone, what does that mean for me as an individual to go it alone? How am I going to keep accountable for my spiritual practice? So I printed this up for myself. And if you print 52 of these, you got a whole year. Every day you can ask yourself, and these are all spiritual practices. Did I pray? Well, we just did. You can count that one, yes. Did I stretch, walk, or exercise today? Yes, I did that today. Did I meditate? Yes, I did that today. Did I encourage someone? Did I encourage someone? Did I work my right brain? Was I creative somehow? Was I expressive in a creative way? Did I work my left brain? Because, you know, without a healthy brain that's functional and both hemispheres being exercised and speaking with each other, you're not going to have much of a spiritual practice to be involved in. And without a relaxed body, yoga being the practice, this is the hotel that your spirit is living in for the while it's on earth. And you want to be able to get everything done that ought to be done by you. Did I work my left brain? Did I take care of my business? Did I look at any of the details of my life? Did I clean up anything in terms of my technology or my finances or anything of that nature, of a left brain nature? Did I do something in that realm today? Did I check in with a friend? Now we can do that in a couple of different ways now, can't we? I think at this time what's really working for me as a spiritual practice, not as an everyday habit, but as a spiritual practice, I call somebody. Because we can check in with friends on Facebook. And right now, thank God for Facebook. That's all I'll say. Thank God for Facebook. But did I check in with anybody today? Simply to create a bond of fellowship, to encourage them on their journey and their spiritual practice, to say, how are you doing? Did I express gratitude in any way today? Did I make somebody smile? If I was at the grocery store, even though we're all wearing masks, did I make eye contact with the cashier and say thank you? How did I, that might be a better way for some of us to frame these questions. How did I encourage someone today? How did I express gratitude? How did I share of myself today? How did I share my good, my money today? It's all up to you. You know, no one's keeping score here except you. No one's going to check on you. But this is such a practical application of life spirituality that is indeed very grown-up kind of thing. Like all adult learners, you're responsible for your own learning. In adult spirituality, you're responsible for your own practice. And given the information, there's nobody going to hold you responsible to it. See, that's how it's different than work. That's how it's different than a work assignment. Let me put it that way. How did I learn something new today? Well, just now I can tell you we learned something new because we're doing this through Carter's phone rather than the way we've been learning to do it for the last 3 months. It's stimulating, if not a little frightening for a few minutes, but it's okay. If you look at this list in the morning, right? Look at the list in the morning. Remind yourself that pretty much in its totality, this is what spiritual practice is. And the only thing that's missing is community. So when we say, did I check in on a friend today? Did I express some gratitude? These are aspects, these are the meaningful aspects of what being in community yields for us. This is the action part of it. So that is even inclusive in this. This is a full life lived according to spiritual awareness. If you want to be in the habit of reading something on a daily basis, that is an awesome practice, and I probably have been doing that for 35 years, where I've been reading something. And I mean something that takes 2 minutes, but I give my full attention to it. I give my full attention to it when I'm doing it. And that is a life lived according to spiritual practice. Check in with the list in the morning. Look at it at the end of the day. And if you can check all of them off, I'd say you're pretty much in your A game. And when you're not, you're not. That's okay. Because like I say, you're only accountable to yourself. But when we do this day after day after day, and it becomes the habit that we, I don't want to get too tongue-tied here, the habit that we really want to live in, it gets easier and easier, and we will find that we were doing these things all the time, all day long, and we're going to be so much closer to being the person that we aspire to be. Because isn't that really what we're seeking? To really be good with ourselves, to understand that we are, just as we are, that we're enough. And I think the answer is yeah, sure. I love the song that Dawn just sang, because you know, that's what's required, especially now, for all of us. This is a time of really high demand. And even when no one's watching, you still got to be bad. You got to be bold, and you got to be wiser than you were before. And you know, in Tennessee and in the South, we're not doing a very good job of that. I will say, I don't take this lightly. It pains me to see that this is a situation we're experiencing, which is pretty much by choice. But for me, and what goes on these grounds, and in my house, I'm going to be hard and tough and strong and cool and calm and stay together. And these practices are the ways for me to be in integrity with that ambition. That's all I ask of for myself. And that's what I offer you. David, would you support us with a quiet time, please? So I will invite you. If you have something in your hands, maybe put it aside right now. And breathe deep. That might not be easy for some of us. But to know that just as you are, and this is what Buddha would have told you, this is what Jesus told you, this is what Emerson's telling you, this is what I am reminding you. That you got it all. And every one of us has these capacities. Having just finished our look at 12 powers, maybe we need some of these 12 street powers. How are you bad? How are you bold? How are you wise? How are you strong? Cool? Calm? Together. All we ought to do is choose. And we will be that. Because you are that now. And so I draw out of myself, invite you to inhale and exhale. Knowing that all the things you want, you are. All that you hope for, you have. And by an increasing commitment to practice, we become stronger and more beautiful, more effective and gracious, creative and potent, day by day. We walk this road alone, and yet at the same time know there are a billion others with whom we are in fellowship who are walking the same walk in peace. You can do it. You can do it. You are doing it. And so it is. And amen. Perfect life within me, which is God, come into manifestation as all that I am. Guide me ever on paths of perfection and cause me to see that which is good. I see you as good. And I know that you're going to have a really good week. Lean into a week of spiritual practice, huh? And I know, because I was like this for 15 years, even when I was in New Thought for the first 15 years, whenever I heard the word spiritual practice, I would automatically say, don't make me have to say the rosary. I don't want to do that. It's not about that. It's about this. And your mind. And your ability to love. Before I leave you, I watched a documentary on Netflix And I sought it out, frankly, to laugh, and I was very touched. And it was about an astrologer in Puerto Rico named Walter Mercado. Did any of you see? I came to laugh, and I was deeply touched. He was a big TV star in the 70s, 80s in the Spanish-speaking world, but he would end all of his broadcasts by saying, "Gracias, mucho, mucho amor." And I just watched that last night. So I'll say gracias, mucho, mucho amor to you, darling friends. Big love, huh? For those that are in need of healing and for those who are at risk, let's say the prayer of protection, and then we'll go right into the peace song. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. For wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And until we see you next Sunday morning, let's sing the peace song.